What's up? Welcome to my video today. Today's video is going to be the April wrap-up, April 2022 wrap-up. My wrap-ups come super late. And if you don't know what a wrap-up is, if you're new to my channel, my name is Kassy. I'm filming at my desk, so you can see half my dining room, half my kitchen. And I don't care because this is what it's going to be. But anyways, I always get off track. I think I have ADHD. But anyways, take a shot every time I say anyways. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name is Kassy and I do videos on literally anything. Lately it's been very much book related, but because I've been enjoying that right now, and I don't see that stopping anytime soon. So every month I am doing a reading wrap up, which I think I started in February. I don't think I did one for January. So every month I do a reading wrap up, basically kind of giving you the list of the books that I read and what I rated it and like the synopsis of the book. No spoilers. I try not to give any spoilers. But yeah, so it's pretty much what I do. So today is going to be April's. So I don't know when this video is going up, probably May 14th or May 13th. So whenever you're watching this, hola. So let's go ahead and get to it because I can literally chit chat about anything. Okay, so let's just jump into it because April was like, it wasn't a bad month, but it also wasn't like the best month. I read 5 books. That's about as much as I read, like, excuse me. I think the most I've read in a month was like, 7. I don't understand how people can read like 20 something books in a month. Like, I have a full-time job and a social life, kind of a little bit. So it's like, I can't even imagine reading that many books. Like having the time to, I would love to, but having the time to read that many books, like that's crazy. So I read 5 books, which in the beginning of the month, I kind of like was suffering between a reading slump, but gladly I'm out of that. And I've been having a good, nice rhythm now that we're in May 12th to be exact. But yes, so April wasn't the best, but I had some good ones. I had some goodies. They weren't, what's it called? I didn't have anything less than a 3-star book. So that's how you know it's still a good month. So yes, I didn't read as much, but they're all like really entertaining, good books. So we're going to start with The Bang, okay? Which was, I would say, probably my favorite book of the month. So now that I'm looking at the cover, I'm like, so good. And it's The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is the first book. I actually started this book in March, the end of March, but I didn't finish it till like April 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. I don't remember. So yeah, because I started it and I had like this much read by the end of March. So the first 3 days of April, I banged it out. Oh my God. If you have not read this book, like this was 5 stars, 5 stars for me. Like I think if I was in a different headspace and like when I was reading it, maybe if I wasn't so distracted or around people, I would have cried. I would have cried because it made me feel the emotions, but I just don't cry easily. So it's like, I have to really be in that like sad mood, but it did make me feel like heartbroken. Like I felt heartbroken. So basically the book is about Evelyn Hugo, and she is like this, like, I want to say gives me Marilyn Monroe vibes, like an actress, a superstar, old Hollywood, like rich ass bitch. But her family is from Cuba, I believe, or Colombia. I forget. So her family is from Cuba. She She was born, I believe, in New York, like that, just like, you know, she was born Cuban, but because it was like in the 80s, like, you know, that wouldn't have flied if becoming an actress. Like, you had to kind of like hide the fact that you have an accent, hide the fact that your skin is tan, or like, you know, try to be as American, like, because that was the goal for everyone, to have like blonde hair. And like Marilyn Monroe was like the idol of like what you know, wanted to look like. So she kind of like did not embrace that side of her, like ever in this whole book. You just know that she's Cuban, that's it. But she basically requests for this girl Monique to write a story about her life. And she takes her back all the way to when she got started, how she got started. And she has been married 7 times. That's why it's called The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, because she had 7 husbands. And it's so crazy because I started reading this book with an expectation of like, you know, just totally not what this roller coaster of a story took us through. And it was just so much better. Like, it was just so good because you don't expect it. And it's like she handpicked this girl for a reason to write this story about her. And it was like, you keep all the proceeds, like, this is all for you. Like, my life is almost over anyways. So she's like an older lady now. So she's like, I want to tell my story, and I want to tell it from the beginning so that people, you know, can know me and know why I did the things I did. Whether you think I'm a good person or a bad person, like, I don't care. I'm going to tell my truth. And, you know, that's what's important to me. So such a fucking amazing book. The twist, oh my God, the twist was like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. And it was just it was very sad. So, you know, if you want to read a book about a badass bitch who will do anything to survive, like, this is the book for you, honestly. This is the second book I read from Taylor Jenkins Reid. The first one I read was, what's the one? Daisy Jones and the Six. So that one was really good, but this one, so much better. So if I had to recommend either one, because they're both pretty popular on TikTok, I feel like this is the one. Like, read fucking this one and you'll love it. You just will love it. So the next book I read, I'm gonna put it right here. This one's funny. It's Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. I gave this one a 3-star. I actually read, so I'm gonna put both of them because they're literally the same book, or not the same book, but like same series. I read Planet Barbarians, and then I also read Barbarian Alien, and they're both by Ruby Dixon. So there's the first and the second book in this like humongous series. And I gave both of them 3 stars because they were very entertaining. Like, I'm not going to tell you here, like, oh my God, this is like, you know, literature to its finest, and absolutely not. But it was so fucking entertaining, like, and short and sweet, and like, you know, just smutty and spicy. But like, basically it takes place, I'm going to tell you what the first book is about. And then I don't really want to give away the second one because I might ruin it. Not that there's really like a plot to be ruined, but basically, aliens are abducting women and taking them to their planet I haven't found out what the aliens wanted to do with them, but they abort the ship for some fucking reason and leave it in this like ice planet. And the aliens like put trackers on the women, and they're like, we'll be back for them. But they were like raping the women and like mistreating them and shit. So they drop them in this island or this planet, and there's always going to be a leader. So the leader girl, her name was Georgie at the time, her name was Georgie. She kind of was like, okay, I guess I'll take the lead. Everyone's like, you know, malnourished, badly beaten because they weren't feeding them well and all this shit. So she takes off, runs into Vectel, I believe that's his name. And yeah, it's basically, they're these like ice barbarians who are like blue and like have really big penises and like their penises have like bumps and ridges on them and shit. And it's like, honestly, it's an experience. I'm here for the sex. Like, I was here for the sex. Nothing else. There's not really like no plot. They're trying to be a plot, but it's like, you're really here for the sex. I'm gonna tell you that right now. So those were fun to read because I've never read anything of like aliens and humans romance type of vibes. So that was like very interesting and different to read about. So I actually really enjoyed that. And the second one is basically, there's like a total of 12 girls, I believe. So they're going to go down the list of all these girls and like maybe a nice Planet Barbarian down the line for each one of them. Because what happens is these barbarians, they mate almost like a fae mates with, you know, whatever, another fae. When you're mated for life. So it's like, if they mate, it's like, I need to put a baby in you type of vibe. So yeah, it was just really entertaining. I enjoyed the whole time I was reading it. Like, that's why I read the second one right after, because it was nice and short and sweet. I believe they're like, part of me wants to say 198 pages, but maybe a little bit over 200 pages. Super fast. I think I read them both in like a 4-day period. So I really enjoyed it. It was really good. But yeah, so there's that one. The next book I read on my Kindle as well, like I read the other two. I picked up another book on my Kindle, and it is Hooked by Emily McIntyre. Okay, I read this in one day, and I'm not even exaggerating. I read it in one day, not one sitting, but a whole day. Like, I started in the morning and I finished it. I think I stayed up till maybe, I don't know. I don't think it was too late. I think it was like 10, 11 o'clock when I finished it. But because, you know, I was at work and I was trying to read it like on my lunch break and things like that. But I ate it up like if it was my fucking dinner, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I fucking ate it up. It was so good. And just like, basically, is this guy. His name is Hook. I can't even tell you what his real name is because for the life of me, I can't even think about it. Anyways, his name is Hook. Yeah, okay. I just remembered. And he owns a club with like a bunch of his uncle or some shit like that. And oh no, it's not an uncle, it's like a best friend or whatever. Anyways, he had like some trauma happen to him when he was really younger. And he's like been trying to get revenge for this said trauma. So, you know, it takes you in the beginning of what happened and why, you know, he is out for revenge. But I guess the guy that he's out for revenge is Wendy's father. And he knows this because I guess this guy's well known. He owns like, you know, a fucking airplane or like an airport or some shit like that. And his daughter's named Wendy. And he goes and Wendy stumbles into his club one day and he spots her. And ever since he spots her, he's like constantly like pursuing her, not forcing, but like being very like aggressive with like, hey, let me take you out. But honestly, the whole like relationship from the beginning, like in the beginning of the book, oh my God, he was so sexy to me. I don't even know what I would even picture him to look like. I wanted to say like Maluma vibes. Like, I don't know, just like millionaire vibes, like super hot, always wearing a nice like suit, just sexy, okay? And just like the way he was talking and the like banter between both of them, like I just fucking loved it so much. And like it was really good. It was really, really good. And then the sex scenes were impeccable. But I fucking loved the book. It was so good. And this is a series. It's part of like the what's it called, like that it's called something. It's like fantastical enemy, I don't know. Basically it's taking like, you know, characters from like Disney movies or like other, you know, things, and reversing and making the enemy the love interest and giving them their happy ending rather than like the Prince Charming, you know? So they have like the next one, which is Scarred, which I already have downloaded on my Kindle. I'm gonna read it hopefully soon because if it's anything like Hooked, I'm gonna love it. And then but Scarred is like loosely based off of like Scar, you know, from the Lion King. And I want to say, I don't know who the love interest is supposed to be. Nala, Kiara, I don't fucking know. And then the third book that just came out called Wretched, I believe it's the Wicked Witch and the Tin Man from Wizard of Oz. I'm not sure. Like I said, but anyways, yeah, so I'm gonna read those other ones too. If it's anything like the first one, like I will eat that shit up as well. But it was really good. I gave it oh yeah, I did give it 5 stars. I'm like, I looked at my paper, I'm like, I gave it 5 stars. Yeah, I did give it 5 stars because I was upset. If I'm gonna read a book in a day, that's a 5-star book. It just is, because if I literally cannot physically put it down, 5 stars. All right, last book that I read in April, The Song of Achilles. I actually was trying to do a vlog of The Song of Achilles and kind of like, it might go up, just depending. I haven't looked at the footage to see if it's even worth putting it up because this is overhyped on like TikTok, or this is hyped up on TikTok to be like, it's gonna make you cry. Like I was sobbing for weeks thinking about it and blah, 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 this stuff. And it's like, okay, like I'm not a crier. I have cried in books. There's only one book that I like fucking sobbed. And I've talked about it before, I think in the February wrap up. And there's only one book that I sobbed. So it's like, it's really hard for me to cry when it comes to books. So I'm like, let me give it a go and see what everyone's talking about, like the crying and shit. But spoiler alert, I didn't cry. But that doesn't mean I didn't love the book. I give this book 4 stars. I absolutely loved the story. I loved the romance in the book. Like, let me just explain it to you, okay? So this book is about Achilles. It's a Greek mythology. So, you know, we're talking about like Zeus, like all those people, the Trojan War and all that shit. So it's Achilles, and it's told in the perspective of Patroclus. And they basically, like, Patroclus does something when he's younger that basically gets him exiled from his home, and he is sent to this like orphan, it's like an orphan like kingdom, this like king, he takes in a lot of orphans and like people who are exiled. And that's where he meets Achilles, the prince of that said kingdom, said land. And they become friends, and they start developing feelings, and they become more than friends. And it's just like their journey from when they met to like when the shit goes down, because there's a war coming. The Trojan War is coming, and you know, Achilles, if you know anything about Greek mythology, which I didn't going into this book, like my knowledge went as far as like Percy Jackson, which I can't even tell you anything about Percy Jackson right now, or like Hercules. So I don't really know. I didn't know that much of anything. So like, if you know about the Trojan War, if you know about Achilles, like, you know what happens, and it follows it pretty like to the T. But you know, excuse me, I didn't know anything about that. So anyways, you know, the Trojan War, Achilles is known, like his prophecy is that he is going to be the best, like the greatest warrior of all time, of his time. And like, you know, people were going to worship him, and he was just going to be, you know, this like famous, like godlike warrior, you know, that no one can beat him. But another prophecy is given, and it's like, you know, a sacrifice is going to need to be made. And it honestly took a turn that I didn't think was going to happen. And I see why people would have cried. I didn't cry, but I was like, no, like, you know, like that. I wasn't crying, but I was like, no. because I didn't expect that to happen. Like, I didn't know. Like, I knew because I searched the Trojan War earlier, or like before, and I'm like, what happens? And then I found out what happens, and I'm like, oh shit. And then you find out like what the prophecy is, like in the middle of the book, but it did not prepare me for what happened. And it did break my heart, but I didn't cry. You know what I'm saying? So I gave it 4 stars because it was a good story. The relationship between Patroclus and Achilles, like, oh my God. Patroclus is just like this sweet, fucking like wholesome ass person. And Achilles like comes off very like strong and like blunt, but the one that's like very straightforward without like really thinking, they just kind of say what's on their mind, and like, duh, that's obvious. That's kind of like Achilles, and like Patroclus is more of like the softer, like understanding, caring one. And it was just like, the relationship was so fucking pure and cute and like amazing. And it honestly, like, it hurt my feelings what happened at the end. And I've never like been the one to like highlight or annotate the book, but I don't know if you can tell, like I have some highlighting and I have some annotating, because the way this is written and just like how lyrical and like beautiful it is. And the end, like, let me see if I can say this line without like giving, it's not the last line or anything. Is it the last line? I can't say it because it's really gonna give it away, but it's just like, oh, a lot of things just like broke my heart. And it was just a good book. It was a good book. I wish it didn't end the way it ended, but you know, it's just a retelling of the Trojan War pretty much. But yeah, 4 stars. So this was really good. I highly recommend all the books I read this month, honestly. Like, if you're into the romance genre and you like spicy books, I like the Planet Barbarians because it was very like random. Like, I never read books about like aliens and stuff. And then, you know, Hooked, if you like that dark mafia like relationship, like mob bosses and things like that, you'll like that one too. And then hands down, anybody, I don't care who you are, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, you will love it if you just give it a chance. And if you're into Greek mythology, you like love, you like, you know, a little bit of little, like, not little boy, that's creepy as fuck, like romance, then so good. You don't need to know anything about Greek mythology to enjoy this book. So yeah, all in all, I feel like I had a pretty good reading month. I wish I read more books, but you know what? I'm back on the wagon this month. And yeah, so far I've been doing pretty good. So yeah, that's everything that I read in April. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you read these books before, what you rated them. Like, do we have similar interests in books and stuff? Give this video a thumbs up if you like my reading wrap up so I can keep doing them. If you're not subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? It's ultimately very, very free. Well, not ultimately, it is like literally quite free. You just click that button. I think it's right here, or if it's right there, I don't know where it is. It's somewhere down here. Click the subscribe button and then click that little bell so you know when I post, because I used to post every Sunday, but I'm changing that. I'm kind of like playing with my channel and just like releasing the content as I make it. Like, just, I don't care what day it is. We're just going to release it and be about our day. So yeah, if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, comment down below book recommendations, or if you read this book, if you read these books, what you rated it, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, why didn't you like it? But that's going to be all for me today. Kassy signing out, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.
You should've called me. Why you never call me? Why you never call me? Oh, oh, oh.